people go right in front of you.
All right,
Yeah.
I think we're live. Can everybody hear me? Give me a wave if you can hear me.
Yeah, I can confirm.
Yeah? Awesome. Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to the Trans Academy Media Team panel. We're gonna start off with some introductions. I will begin. I am Azil. I am a VR chat content creator. I interview people in game about their real life experiences and share their stories with the world. I am also part of the Trans Academy's media team. I have helped with a couple of the public release videos that we have put on the YouTube channel. And I am also a hardcore ally. I try to work as hard as I can to signal boost and support the trans community. I guess we can start with Rory over there for the rest of the introductions. Go ahead.
Hello, I'm Rory. I work as part of the media team, specifically part of the stream team. You may recognize me not as this model if you have gone to Moonlit. You may, in fact, recognize me if I look like this. Now you may recognize me if you have been to Moonlit
Ooh.
before. But
Nice.
yeah, I'm a member of the stream team. I help broadcast these kinds of events and stuff. Outside of the academy, I am a content creator, and I also work IRL at my local library. Oh, and I'm
I
they
didn't know
them.
you worked at a library. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Thank you.
he they for me. We should do pronouns. I totally forgot about that. Yeah. Cool. Well, Alastor, would you like to go next?
I'll be brief. My name is Alastor, head of the stream team at Current, they. I don't really have too much else to say.
That is fine. All right, Fluffy.
Hi, I'm Fluffy, they. I am an editor and the lead composer on the film team. So if you've ever listened to one of our YouTube videos, you've probably heard music I made. I used to be a software engineer, but these days I'm retired and working more on music and video editing stuff. So, yeah. And I've also been with the Trans Academy for exactly 1 year because I joined on last DAB Day.
Woo! Happy anniversary to you too.
Thank you, yes.
Ash.
Hello everyone, I'm Ash, she, her. I'm on the film team. God, what do I do? Everyone just says like I do pretty much everything. Like I'm apparently film director. Don't know how that happened. Writer, camera person, telling people what to do.
Very talented speaker as well. I have kind of helped guide Ash in some of her interview stuff, but honestly, she's nailed it. Like she's pretty damn. So if you see any of that kind of content in the future, Ash is definitely the one for it.
And thank you so much, Azil.
Sweet. Now that we have introductions done, fun fact, if you've ever seen one of my videos, I have never come up with questions ahead of time, and I had so many technical difficulties today that we are going with the same strategy. So I think what we're going to do is kind of go over the basics of how to operate a team of people that are creating media, especially for a nonprofit organization. We are a 501c3. And we're going to kind of cover the important parts of what we do, and then we'll kind of talk about what it means to us, why it matters, and such. I guess what I'll do is ask questions, and then we'll kind of go around. If someone has an answer to them, you can go pass. So I guess the first thing is, when you started working with the Trans Academy on media production or streaming or composition, what did you bring to the team that you feel helped improve the process?
I suppose I can answer that first. I brought lots of extra work for Jamie. I've been told I brought too much, but it's better to have too much than too little.
You're ambitious.
I love coming up with ideas and trying to workshop them in and all that. If you've ever seen Meet the Team, that was start off like as an idea that was before I joined. I think it was like Meet the Staff. all I remember is there is somewhere in the archives of the staff there is a meet the staff like Team Fortress 2 spoof graphic somewhere.
Oh my
So I took
gosh.
that and it's like we can expand this. We can do a meet the team.
Mhm.
That's how difficult can it be? It's like, oh wait, I have to come up with questions. And we need editors. We need camera people. And then I realized there's an amazing Trans Academy media team. And they managed to but the best thing about the media team, I can say this on the film side is everyone brings something, everyone is extremely talented. If one person is lacking, another person can help. Like if I'm not good at camera work, but somehow I'm the lead camera operator. Don't know how that works. We have Quinster on our film team, who's an amazing camera operator, and it's like Quinster's like, I need help with this, and they will offer their help to me, which is great. It's like it's such a team effort, especially on the film team. It's like that's why I always half hate calling myself film director, because we're just one big directorial team. We all help each other out.
We flow
Yeah.
between skill sets very well. Everybody brings something, and we're
Yeah.
able to kind of merge them really, really effectively. I guess the thing I brought was media management, specifically social media, because I mean I've been doing this now for about 3 years. When I joined, I had been going full time for about one and 3/4 years, a little more, and one of the first things I did with the Trans Academy was pretty soon after I joined the team, I wrote up a 6-page report about the effectiveness of our media strategy and how it could be improved to streamline our process and grow our audience. I kind of you were talking about idea generation and how you bring a lot of new stuff. I just want to say, like, something that I've learned through doing my social media management stuff is that you can come up with 100 ideas, and as long as one of them works, you are successful. Like, you do not have to come up with 100 different project ideas and then get yourself down for 99 of them not being perfect. And
Oh yes.
I really enjoy coming up with these ideas for new things that we as a team can do that I've done personally. I have like 4 channels that I have uploaded to because I'm constantly like, oh, I should put this here. So if any of you are looking to get into content creation, just know that you don't have to succeed the first, second, third, fourth, or 80th time. You'll get there. You just have to decide if this isn't working, change it up. It's like
Oh,
highest
I know
priority.
that feeling.
Yep.
I used to have my own YouTube channel. Oy,
Yeah, it's
hard work.
It's definitely. I think YouTuber is currently the most desired job by kids under the age of 15, like in a survey. It used to be astronaut,
Yeah.
now it's YouTuber. Oh, how we've fallen.
I mean,
Oh,
astronauts get stranded on the space station, so.
Yeah. Cool. Would you two like to answer the question as well, and then?
I can say that when I joined the streamer, I guess, but it was a little bit before we had divided into teams during the earlier days of the academy. But what I had brought was I was the first one on the team that had a familiarity with OBS, which led to me being able to bring up these ideas for like it was Susie's idea for the voice class to begin with, but before that I had ideas for little things we could do with the community that I could record and then later on put onto the YouTube channel I was there at the time, which became the VODs channel at some point. But it was the familiarity with OBS, and I was the one who put together the overlay you see on OBS. Like whenever the Twitch stream is in the waiting room, I was the one who put those together. But beyond that, the rest of the team had kind of filled out where when we started dividing up into teams, the rest of the team had kind of filled out into these different roles that I wasn't able to do. We had better designers, we had better editors, and it made my job significantly easier, especially when we had more members on the stream team and I wasn't doing such like long sequences at a time.
Speaking of that,
Yeah.
I've got something that Alastor brought, which is before, like, as I was being brought on, Alastor was, like, holding down the fort. The big, like, 10-hour, like, broadcasts. That was Alastor for all 10 hours. Like, Alastor was holding it down. Like, I want to make sure people understand just how much work Alastor has been putting into the stream team, because that amount is honestly admirable, especially considering you're not being paid, because it's a volunteer
what a
thing. We do volunteering
grind.
here.
Mhm.
Like, you have been, like, handling so much of it. And you've still been handling a lot even after I joined. But we work together, and I like that. We work together.
Yeah.
I'm currently one of the other people on the stream team, and when I was brought on, we weren't even broadcasting Moonlit yet. So that was sort of what became my focus, was I was the Moonlit person. Back when we were on the other map even, and it was just NA for a little while, and it wasn't even like recorded, I think. I've been told that what I bring, according to Trix, Trix likes to say that rule 3 of Moonlit EU is if there's a problem, Rory will fix it. But what that actually means in practice is as soon as something starts going wrong, I'm already brainstorming 3 other ways that we can get it to still be functioning.
Uh-huh.
And that's a lot that goes into streaming in general, other content as well, but especially streaming considering it's live. So you guys might see, oh, look at this really smooth transition to this thing over here. Meanwhile, we're just like, okay, this audio sequence isn't working and this audio sequence isn't working. I'm going to just very quickly mute everything in the world except for world audio, and now they can hear the music, or like stuff like that. Like being able to pivot
Yeah.
really quickly is really important for making live content. And I guess bringing solutions in a panic is
Oh yeah.
one of the things. Like when we had, for those of you who went to Moonlit and saw the one night we had the other Moonlit world, first of all, the world team, Dory especially, pulled that out of the water. That was within 5 hours that world was done, and that was phenomenally fast and so good. The reason that happened is because the screen, when being recorded or broadcasted, was causing so much flashing in the previous map that we had been using that I was genuinely worried it would give people seizures.
Oh no.
So I very quickly pulled back the entire team, like the entire Moonlit team. I was like, "Listen, this is a problem." And Dory was like, "I heard there's a problem." And within 5 hours, we had that world. And then the world team, within a week, gave us Moonlit Island. And I'm glad that they
Wow.
were able to help us with that, because that was like a big concern. But so I guess I
Yeah.
can also join Ash and I cause problems by pointing out problems and make work for other people.
By the way, the idea of something can go wrong during live content, like at least one of those things will. That goes all the way to the top. My grandfather worked for ABC as like one of their head broadcast people on the audio side specifically, which if you know anything about live content, specifically audio, something. It's always something audio related. It is
Yep.
horrible. But he was like the fixer. Like he has told me horror stories of like something going wrong during the Olympics. Like it goes to the top. There's always something audio related. But anyways, yeah, that's that is a very impressive skill set to have, to just be able to quickly solve problems while it is very reasonable to instead just be panicking. So props to you. I guess Fluffy.
Yeah, quick.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say a quick like addendum to that is the amount of times during like the music festivals in the earlier versions, because they were always, not always, but for quite a few of them, the broadcast for the DJ set themselves that you'll see during the music festivals, sometimes the visuals will bug out, sometimes the audio will bug out, and it comes down to a situation of there were at least in one go like 3-4 times where I had to flick between the waiting screen, which had its own separate visualizer because the other one was just turning to gray bits. That wasn't very pleasant.
Oh. Yeah.
So it will always be, when it comes to, yeah, it's a good skill to have with being able to flick, like quickly fix. I hesitate to say the word fix, it's just put something in its place that'll work for now.
Duct tape.
See,
To
to
duct
other
tape the
Yeah.
people,
problem.
to people who don't see the back end, they think it's fixed. To us, we're like, it's passable and it's not on fire, so it's
Yeah.
good. And then everyone else watching is like, wow, yeah, this is good. And we're like,
Uh-huh.
cool,
Mhm.
thanks.
It's
Very
like you're
glad to
sitting
hear it.
you're sitting right there next to like the railroad, and you have that lever in the head. You constantly have to like rip it back and forth to keep things working as they should.
Indeed. Yeah.
So
Fluffy, if you
yeah,
wanna talk-
on a similar note, yeah, I think I bring a lot of perfectionism, especially when it comes to audio and things like phrasing of like lines that we're delivering for voiceover and things like that. And you know, I tend to notice little details and try not to like worry too much about them when no one else on the team notices, because if no one else notices, then maybe no one in the audience notices either. But even though it still bothers me greatly whenever I see like little tiny things. But also I bring a lot of experience from like even though my career was in software engineering, I've had a lot of experience with like video editing. Like I had an internship at a video production house in high school. I was using Premiere back before it was called Premiere Pro. You know, things like that. I mean, the earliest days of my video editing was like on like physical like tape decks. So you know, it's a little different
wow.
now. Yeah.
That's
I also
so
bring
cool.
age. I'm usually the oldest person in the instance. I'm pretty sure I'm the oldest person on staff, by a considerable margin. Yeah, I just try to bring experience and also just like a drive to like make everything better all the time, but also moderating that by trying not to like insist that everyone lives up to these high standards. It's just because like it's kind of impossible for for where I try to put everything. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The main thing,
Yeah,
Fluffy,
you
is
gotta
you
set
live to
yourself
my
like a.
standards.
Mm.
Oh yeah.
Well, thank
And
you.
like perfectionism is incredibly effective as long as you set yourself like a point
Oh,
at
absolutely.
which the perfection is just close enough. Like if you
Oh yeah,
don't set
perfect is
yourself
the
a
enemy
limit,
of
you will
done.
never
Yeah.
release anything. Yeah, the enemy of
Yeah,
done.
absolutely.
I like that.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. If any of you have ever been like super focused on your grades in high school, like imagine doing that, but you have like thousands of people that are like waiting for whatever you're working on. It's not just your
Mhm.
teacher and her annoyed look.
Mhm.
Like it's something. That's why I don't really set myself deadlines anymore, which is a positive and a negative because I.
Mm.
In complete
Yeah.
fairness, in this analogy, at least one is actually happy to see you.
Yeah, I always give myself deadlines on my albums and stuff, and it's like just so I make sure that I actually get them out, because otherwise I'll just like re-record like 10 billion times and nothing ever comes out. So
I don't believe in
That is kind of
deadlines.
one perk about the live content stuff is it happens and you roll with it
Yeah.
because that's the option you've got.
Yeah,
Like
there's
even
no
if it's
going
like,
back
oh, I
in
could have done this
time.
better, I could have fixed this camera angle. It's like,
Mhm.
well,
Yeah.
too
Just stuff to
bad.
learn for next time.
It's
Yeah.
happening right now.
Yeah, just get better at
Yep.
it.
So it kind of helps,
Itty-witty.
honestly, with the perfectionism thing because you
Mhm.
like, yeah, you can worry about it, but like at a certain point, it's like, well, too bad, out of my control
Too
now.
Yeah, and oh my gosh, you can fix you can fix tech problems. The real issue is when someone says something wrong, and then you're like, "Welp, okay, how do we untangle that mess?" Like, I'd say the hardest part of live content is like making sure everyone has a subconscious understanding of public relations. Because if at least one of those people doesn't, you're gonna have some rough moments.
It goes on that note of perfectionism. It goes into that sort of a tech issue is something that you can fix and something that you can mitigate later. Someone else doing something wrong is entirely out of your control. So, I will always get more frustrated when it's something I can't change.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
and,
you also need to learn to let go of that. Oh, sorry. Like, just because, I find that I get super anxious when I'm worried about messing up. I used to not be able to perform music live at all because I would just be afraid of messing up. And like, what actually helped me with that was karaoke. Was because karaoke is a great environment to mess up, and so because it was okay to mess up, I stopped messing up. Go figure. So like, just being able to like move forward on stuff and reflect and understand that mistakes will happen, and then just like just knowing that you can recover from it is much more important than being perfect out of the gate.
I think I'm the opposite.
Alastor brought up a good point, honestly, because that's like the one thing that I struggle with, at least with my academy work. Is that I can control the camera, I can very quickly pivot audio, I can all these sorts of things, but what people are doing is not something I have any control over. And usually when you are doing the live content, you also can't say anything, because if you specifically say anything, it might get caught in the broadcast. So there are times when I'm just like staring very intently and I'm just like hoping that, like, there's been a couple times at Moonlit. There's a reason that there's now a joke sticker. Is I'll just be very intently staring at someone who's like not where they should be, just like telepathically being like, get them, delete them, get this man away from here.
I wish there was
As
a
the Moonlit
universal
team
human hand
especially
symbol for
knows.
"Can you not?" Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's
And
Actually, we actually just need the mod
X with the
sticker.
arms, which is pretty.
so much
I've tried the
backing.
X arms, which is pretty like coherent across
But,
languages.
yeah,
you know,
that's
people will
coherent.
do what people want to do.
yeah.
And that's like the one thing that I do struggle with, is the whole I have to let go of the fact that I cannot control other people doing things that I can't immediately
Yeah.
fix.
Live content
you
is the
should
most
see me
it
in
be
the
that
sessions.
way. Yeah.
I mean,
Live content is like the most it be that way section of content creation.
I mean, we just had a recording session there a few weeks ago for a video that's coming up, and I wrote, I was directing. It's like, who's gonna be like the announcer? It's like, you'll do it. It's like, so it's me announcing on stage while telling you, camera, you do that. It's like, maybe we should rewrite this. It's like, no, I don't think that scene works. We need to do it again. And it's like, people who know me, people who've seen me like doing recording sessions, while I am a goofy, I am quite a perfectionist sometimes. You know this yourself, Fluffy, when you like we've been in recording sessions. It's like, no, I think we need to do this again. We had a scene where it's like with the cake in the cafe, we're pointing towards, as I almost knock everything over standing up, point to the cake to like get it to zoom in, and we did that shot like 6 times. It's like, no, I wasn't happy with the hand movement, or no, I talked too long. The camera moved 5 seconds before I stopped talking. It's like, no, we have to. And
when I'm thinking of the EOZ ad where it's like we were reshooting for hours. I was sick with COVID during that, by the way. It was. It's a good thing I had no speaking lines. I was just like, pantomiming, but I was so ready to fall over like halfway through finishing that. And
that was a fun shoot for me, because that was the least work I had to do in a shoot. Was me mostly dance and sit there and jump and to be spooked by Jamie, I think, jumping back. I think we did that shot like 6, 7 times.
I felt like it was more like 20, but yeah. It was a
Still
lot
fewer
of takes.
shots than what I require for people.
Mm.
If one B is here, she knows like from a video we did recently. It's like just move over a bit. Move. It's like no, we need to get you in the right angle. It's like no, you're too no. Yeah, we got you. And then 5 minutes later, it's like you moved. We need to record this whole thing again.
Okay. How about this? Let's talk about the ways that you feel media is important for especially something like VR chat. Like, what makes the VR chat content creation different from someone doing like IRL vlogs? What do you see that changes?
So
For me,
what I
oh, go ahead, Rory.
sorry, I was gonna say what I would actually at least with the live content side, I would say it's actually incredibly similar to vlogs, and that's why it's important. Because like vlogs and stuff, I mean, sometimes vlogs are scripted, that's fine, whatever. But like a lot of the time, vlogs and like real life broadcast, like real life Twitch streams and stuff like that, are all about the experience of being around other people and what's going on like in the world. And given the fact that VR chat is so immersive and we're here in front of each other, we can gesture with our hands and people can see that. Or we can use emotes if we can't gesture with our hands. Or some people can like do a little jig if they have their full body turned on, which I don't right now because I was too tired. So like all that kind of stuff is very important to human communication. And so being able to show these more, not more human, but like these extremely human moments in a virtual space has been really important to me. Like I've done a couple of the classes. That of course is important because like teaching and education and stuff like that. But like some of the other things like community events or like Moonlit, we have like live performances from people of our community who like come out and do performances. We have actual people who are there dancing in this virtual space, like doing human things. And being able to document that, being able to share that for people who can't be there, and then also have it up for people who want to reflect on that experience that they had or see what it's like before they go to an experience has been very important to me because of the fact that it's documenting human behavior. Not in like a like maybe it's the autism that's making me phrase it this way so I sound like a science silly person, but like the behavior is similar in VR and in real life, and showing that helps, I think, connect people even more than we already are.
Yeah,
I
it's about
love
like
that.
outreach and preservation. Yeah. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, just saying. Yeah, it like our YouTube channel is very important for outreach and for preservation. Just to outreach in terms of like letting people know that this thing exists. It's a place where you can come to feel safe and to learn and to connect with other trans people and learn what it means to be trans. But also just preservation in terms of like saving the performances that we've done, saving like some of the panels that we've had, during like TPVR we had the thing with the filmmakers. I'm blanking on the name right now, but it like it just like just having it as a record, as a historical record that we were here and we matter is just super important.
Yeah.
And that's so inherently human as well. To like leave proof that like you were here and you did things. And even if it's as simple as, oh look, here we were talking about doing camera stuff, but like we're bantering, we're being human, we're people. And like that will show in the future, like people can be like, oh yeah, look at these people, like even like of course it's good now, but then also like in the future with digital archaeology and stuff, when people have like VR that's like way better than this, they'll be able to go back and be like, look at how quaint this was, look, this is how people did this, look at this.
And if I can jump in with my own like work, the kind of what I've done with my entire life's work over these last few years has been saying you deserve to be heard now and forever. Being able to openly broadcast that someone had a life experience that is pivotal to who they are, but could also inform someone who needs to know that information or help them become more educated on how to support others. I've had a couple of people on videos I've done with trans guests where I've seen people in the comments that said this was the video that made me understand that being trans is not a choice, or that it is important to people, or that it is necessary for the survival of people that experience feelings of gender dysphoria or otherwise. Like
Mhm.
that.
I wish this
that's
existed
pretty
when I was
cool.
a kid, and that's a big part of why I work here. Because I want there to be the stuff out here that lets kids like me know that they're not alone. Like, I had so many dark times, like, as a kid and as a teenager and so on, while I was trying to figure stuff out. And, like, growing up trans in the 80s was not great in terms of, like, representation. So, yeah.
Yeah,
And
I
like I'm not that old. I was growing up in the 90s and early 2000s, but like the one place that we really had if you didn't know what 4chan was, which I've never
Oof.
been there and hopefully never will be. Just personally, I was a guy online kid, okay? I don't do Reddit. I don't do any of those because I was like a forum kid, not like a RTS board or whatever kid. But it's just a vibe difference. But like I found out about being queer not just from my friend, but on Tumblr
oh
in
hell
the
yeah.
2012s. Which,
Yo.
for anyone who was on Tumblr during those days,
That's impressive.
was a
God
time
bless Tumblr.
that definitely existed. But having videos like these is much better
You are a
than
Tumblr
that.
survivor.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
I still post there
Yeah.
occasionally.
I'd still read there.
It's a very
I
different
can't
place,
help
though.
it. I've been there so
It's not
long. It's like, where else
Tumblr,
do I
really.
go?
Yeah.
Yeah, as
Ash, you...
you were talking about like the real life versus the VR filming and all that. It's amazing the differences. Like in VR you can do so much more stuff. It's like you need a dolly shot and all that. Yeah, just get VRC lens or just have someone with a dolly avatar. You can do it. Real life, you have to spend a lot of money to do that. VR is
Oh,
like
yeah.
$10 on VRC lens, which is amazing. And even like doing like with YouTube and all that, like people like I'm. This might come as a shock to people. I'm actually heavily introverted. You probably do not notice that because I don't know what I do. Because you all give me so much energy. That's probably it. It's like so years ago I had my own gaming journalism outlet, and I used to do IRL interviews and videos, and that was such a struggle for me because I remember a few years ago it was E3 2011. I was doing journalism work there. I was working there. We were trying to do shoots in public. And as you know, if you've ever seen someone doing live filming, you have to people are waving behind the camera, and it's like, that's difficult to put up with. I remember even like on the show floor, we had like a person in a was doing work with Bohemian Interactive, and a person like in a horse outfit, pink horse outfit, just walked by just off camera. And it's like, when you get into VR chat, you don't really have those issues. I mean, yourself as you.
Well,
you,
everyone was a
like,
pink
your
horse.
sets- I hope it's a pink horse.
You
I mean,
see a pink
yourself as
horse
you.
walking by, and it's not even. You don't even bat an eye here. Like you're
Yeah.
just like, yeah, that's fine.
I mean, as you know from probably in your work, like your groups when you're doing recordings are closed off and all that, so you have more control. And that's
Oh,
what
yeah.
a great thing about filming in VR chat is. Like actually did some. I used to be Twitch streamer, and I do a lot of VR chat stuff. This is back in 2018, 2019. If you were around back then, you know how chaotic it was. I think a lot of streamers have it easier nowadays, which I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, because I would do streams in the Great Pug.
I'm so sorry.
Get well soon.
We used to get Thomas the Tank Engine raids quite a bit, which I think
That
that's
sounds
most
better than
that's a raid that actually needs to come back. People in the standard Thomas the Tank Engine avatars, just ding 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 ding, whatever the Thomas the Tank Engine theme song is being blared down mics. Beautiful, but
It's a very different space.
going back,
Mhm.
yeah, like going back on top of like
space.
VR chat filmmaking gives so much more control than you would have in real life. You don't have a lot of issues with people. What will people say around you? Like, there's no earmuffs in real life, so you can't like there is in VR, which
You can
makes it so much
untangle the
easier.
audio, which is really hard.
Oh yes.
And like
Mhm.
edit out
Thank-
certain speech using voice painting out.
Uh,
But oh my
OBS
gosh, that
is
is
brilliant.
that is
One
a task.
one thing that I can say about the yelling in the background, but one thing that I can say on the note of Rory brings up the social aspect of the live side, and I believe me and Rory are kind of on the two different ends of the autistic spectrum because I am on the end of extremely socially disconnected, so I can talk more about the technical side. And that being, when it comes to live content in like the real world, you have, as Ash said, much less control because you have to deal with the people that are just going around. You have to deal with like there are no earmuffs, but there's also there's no shield. There's no like you can't mute yourself on OBS. Like OBS is like a paradise because you can mute yourself in. If you need to yell at someone while you're on the other side of the camera, you can tell OBS not to pick that up at all. So it creates an extra layer. If you need to direct, you can do that now. But if you were in like an actual thing, you had to be dead silent. And on top of that, there's the situation of there's much less. There is still panic, mind, but there's much less panic when something goes wrong because it's that easy to flick off the stream buffer or switch off to the other, like the waiting screen before it actually hits the main broadcast. It's
There's
that
no
quick.
AV
Oh my
cables.
god. There's no AV cables.
I have audio tech
And-
friends that just oh my gosh, the cables.
I did.
You should see my
I
recording
did,
studio.
I used to do work with a radio broadcaster, and it was crazy because we had to do a live broadcast one day. I think it was the first time I was a audio deck operator for them. It was our first outdoor broadcast, and we had to work with cables. We were on an old famine ship. We were doing like a recording about the Irish famine and all of that, and we had to get the cables on. So we had to throw them over. We had a massive gap. It's like, don't accidentally drop these in the Liffey. And then there was water came onto the ship. So it was like water would constantly rise through the crack. We managed to get away with it until the last day when one of us may have accidentally not misjudged the gap in the throwing and may have accidentally dipped a bit of it into the water. Totally not me.
Oh,
I will
modern
say, like on top
technology.
of there
I remember
being
those
no,
fun
there's,
days.
there's no AV cables, and you don't have to have an egregiously loud drone to have a flying camera because the one in
Oh my
VRC is just zero gravity. You don't have to
Oh,
deal
and no
with
inertia,
setups
yeah.
like bolting it. You don't have to bolt it to the wall and then zoom the FOV down. You can literally just fly it around without a drone that's screaming like you lit it on fire.
No.
And I think the great thing is the control as well. You probably people who watch content creators in VR chat, they're probably like, "Oh wow, it's so great, it's so streamlined. I could do that and all that." Yes, anyone can do it, but it takes a lot of training to get streamlined. You've probably seen
Mhm.
yourself, Zio, from your point of view as well. Like I've like from when I used to be content creator and all that, it's like for every 10 minutes of like great video, it's probably like 5-6 hours of recording and then
30
several
minutes
more
of,
hours of
yeah.
editing.
I mean, even in just straight up interviews, which is essentially podcast stuff, like when you're cutting out just the ums or the uhs, you're looking at a solid at least 40% of your footage goes away. Like, it is ridiculous
Yeah.
just how even the best speakers leave you with a lot of slack. I
Yeah.
have had people on my channel that could legitimately do like speaking tours if they wanted to, but they just like you don't get perfect speech. That's not how it works.
Oh,
And
Lots
that's
of ums,
that's
you
step
knows.
one, and then you have everything else.
Yeah,
I
if
mean,
you're
yeah.
gunning for quality, if you're gunning for quality over quantity, a 10-minute video can turn into a 2-day endeavor to get one of, like, if you're pushing for speed, it is easy to say, I don't need to do that, I don't need to do that, I can get this here now. But if you're pushing to make it perfect every time, a single 10-minute video can be a 2 or 3-day endeavor. So imagine 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, all these crazy long videos you'll see on YouTube that are top notch. That was like 7 months of work. That's a feature length movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
absolutely.
For me, I used to do game reviews. It would take a week to get a video done. And it's like, and that's just me talking from my recording footage and writing a script, and it's like, God, this feels like it takes forever. And then like you have people doing 20-30 minute videos in say VR chat and Minecraft where like get together and all they do stuff, and it's like, and then you really do realize how much work and how talented so many content creators are. They may joke in front of the camera, but behind the camera, it's all serious.
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, when I started doing my channel, I was good at the human part and pretty much nothing else. I didn't know how to make my OBS output run anything other than. I mean, I knew how to use like NVENC, but I didn't know the intricacies of making sure that your audio channels were well balanced. I used. I paid monthly for Premiere Pro, which never do that. Just use DaVinci or look at some cool websites. I shouldn't say that. Use DaVinci. Use DaVinci Resolve.
Yeah, I mean, DaVinci's on a cool website, yes.
Yeah, the DaVinci Resolve, blackmagic.com. That's the best website for editing software. Yeah, there's
Not sponsored by DaVinci.
No, if they
No
sponsored
love
me,
for
I would be
Windows
so
Movie
happy.
Maker anymore.
Windows Movie Maker, dog. Oh my god.
Windows
I
Movie
remember
Maker,
I
may
used
you
to
rest in peace.
I
Rest in
love
peace.
I love Movie Maker. That was what I used like in the late 90s, 2000s when I really started off. I loved Windows Movie Maker.
I was a
What
fetus.
was
recently
it?
I was-
What was it? Y'all remember like 009 sound system Dreamscape on every single like movie maker video that there was? Was that
Oh
in the
my god,
background?
yes!
009
I am not old
Dreamscape.
enough to know
Notepad.
what's happening
Hello
in
everyone,
these-
welcome to my Minecraft tutorial. Today I'm
And it
going
was just Dreamscape
Yes.
blaring in the
See,
background.
I'm old enough that I missed all
maximum
this,
volume.
so...
No, what you want is what was it? The Hypercam 2 in the top left.
Unregistered
Unregistered
Hypercam.
Hypercam.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Hypercam
yeah.
2. Unregistered Hypercam 2.
This is becoming back in our
and then
days.
after that it was Fraps. And then after
Oh
it
my
was
god.
Fraps.
I have an
Whatever.
idea. I have an idea. There
Yes.
should be a challenge on YouTube to like make the most beautiful short film you can using just Windows Movie Maker. It's like those MS Paint drawings, but for video.
Right. Oh, that's a great
cool
idea.
thing is like on an April Fool's Day broadcast or video, you use like that older equipment and you just don't even react to it. You're just like, hello everybody.
It's
Can we
like
do
a
unregistered
feature-length
hypercam
film,
too?
but you've got unregistered hypercam too at the top. It's just a completely actual
forget,
quality
it's
video, but
square-shaped.
everything is recorded in hypercam. It's gotta be.
It's
It's
square
gotta.
shaped. It does not have widescreen. It has the bars.
Yeah,
Like
it's a 4 by
360
It's gotta
3.
be the 1-to-1 ratio. It has to be.
No, it can't be that high. It's 240p, hypercam in the left, wraps in on the right, 4 by 3, completely overblown mic.
Mm-hmm.
Like a shady
sound
link to
level-
Club
15 frames
Penguin
per
membership,
second.
free no downloads.
You see the person tab out of Audacity before like,
Oh,
the
yeah,
video
you do
technically
that, yeah.
starts. I still use Audacity.
Oh my gosh, we need to do this.
So do I.
We need to
Audacity's-
do like the worst
Audacity is
stream.
timeless.
We need to do the most like tragically unprofessional stream,
Well,
but like
you know what?
intentionally for April Fool's
You know what I will
Day.
say is here?
Cursed,
That
cursed,
might be a
cursed,
challenge for our
cursed.
team, because we're so good. We're such a
We're
the stream
so
team is so
good.
good.
No
How can they
mistakes.
make a bad
Literally
stream?
And we're all perfectionists.
The
So-
one key feature that you have to do to mess it all up is to just crank the drive on the microphone a little too high.
Oh, yes.
Like just do a gain and a compressor for
Just-
no
yeah.
reason.
Yeah, just make sure
the
meters are always red. Meters just have to always be
The
red.
ones you see on,
Red, yeah.
the ones
red
you see on
means-
podcasts where it's always
Yeah.
like super compressed and painful to listen to.
Yeah, we need to do.
And this is an example
Red means good.
of
Red means
what-
go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And this is sort of an example of like what kind of experience, like more like of course we've listed our experience, but this is also an example of like just through dialogue what kind of experience we've had with this kind of work in the past
Oh,
to
yeah.
get to the point where we are now. So like that's another context thing for people who might not know is like, oh yeah, we're making all these jokes to all this old software that we had to deal with before we had better software. For other
Uh-huh.
people, that might just sound like nothing, but for people who were there,
Oh yeah.
y'all know. I just knocked over my coffee. Oh
Mhm.
dear.
Oh fuck.
Oh, no.
Okay. Oh wait, I'm not supposed
Uh-oh.
to say that. Okay, this is a PG-13 movie. I got one F word. I used it up now.
Of
Don't let me
course, you
do
stole my opportunity to do it.
Typical.
I did this
Aw.
last time too.
Yes, you did.
You were the one, yes. It's becoming
Oh
a
my
trend
God.
or a trait, perhaps.
I'm
Like
so
talking about the old times,
Palestine.
I think people will who knew Fraps will never forget the day. It's like, oh, why is everything so stuttery? Oh wait, I'm using Fraps. Uses like 50% CPU or something like that.
Yeah, X264, no hardware acceleration, going raw, dude. Love it.
For
Love
some of
it.
the newer generation who might be here, Streamlabs OBS, back when it was
Oh,
called
God.
Streamlabs OBS.
Oh,
This may
yeah.
ring this may ring true to you. I started out with slobs when I first was content
You
creating.
said Streamlabs and my blood boiled.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Did you just like steal and
started out with
unlicense a
slobs.
ton of GitHub
I know that
software?
feeling.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
it
genuinely
was
started
literally
content
they
creation
stole-
6 years ago with slobs. It was I would not
Yeah.
recommend it.
You poor thing,
As
Rory.
LBS. If I'm not, I think it was something that they cleared up later on. Like they actually went, they were like made a derivative version of their own. But the original version of Streamlabs was a technically pirated version of OBS that used several like makeshift plugins.
I
That's so
think
professional.
I think what we can say, kids today have it easy. All they need is OBS.
The
Well,
OBS
they
has like
have
a
it
get
easier,
started thing now.
but I
It's
don't-
like, do you have
Yeah.
a graphics card? Do you want to do this or this? And it's like, this is like
The
Back in
autocomplete
my
wizard
day-
is so much nicer.
It
Yeah.
feels like what they did to
It's
Minecraft, where like
easier.
you used to have to Google everything and just do it,
Mhm.
figure
Here's-
it out.
Here's
Now
the thing,
there's-
though.
it's easier.
I want to like
Hmm?
make it clear. It's easier from a technical perspective, but that
Yeah.
doesn't
Oh, yeah.
mean it's easier
Hmm.
from every other perspective of content creation.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
The other stuff is still
Yeah.
incredibly hard. It's just now there's a software that like works out of the box, which the fact that
Mhm.
that's
Yeah.
the bar should tell you everything you need to know about prior content creation.
Okay, you know what?
That
No,
the
no, no.
bar, the,
I'm gonna-
the bar
I'm gonna
is
update
it
that.
works out of the box.
I'm gonna update that. It is
Mostly.
free and it works out of the box.
Right, yeah.
Same thing with Blender. If you have ever used Blender, you know that is like free stuff never gets you to 100% of what the industry uses. But unless you're talking about like the libraries that are used pretty universally. But like when you download something like Blender or OBS, I mean, I guess Blender is hard. Blender looks like an aircraft control panel. But the point is, when you download something that has almost professional level tools that someone else made with donation money, and you downloaded for free, you have to realize that is not how it has always been. Not even close. Like,
yeah, I mean, I first
They were
started
the
doing
best
3D modeling with
OBS.
Lightwave.
Yeah, stuff that
It mean
is
there's a
equivalent to
way
OBS.
bigger learning curve.
Yeah, but like OBS level tools used to cost thousands of dollars and only be licensed out to movie studios that had in-person meetings with the executives. Like, you're using magic. And that is beautiful.
And would
That's
get
really
updated and not
amazing.
work. And
Yeah,
then you'd have to
that
wait
too.
for the next update to make it work.
Yeah, which you would get on CD in the mail.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't around for that, well, no, I had like Mr. Potato Head on MS-DOS, but anyway.
Something
I've had one piece of
favorite
Lightwave
editing
came on
program.
floppies, but yeah.
my favorite editing program, Mr. Potato Head for MS-DOS. Oh my god. Man, that piece of software might be older than almost everyone in this room. That's crazy. Wow.
Fluffy.
Yeah. I'm older than MS-DOS, so.
The point is, if any of you want to get into making video content, you now have access to a level of production value that the people one generation ahead of us, like the people that you grew up seeing make these things, we now have the tools to make those things. That's incredible. And so if you ever make say, I want to do this, I want to create something, whether it be for a nonprofit organization, for fun, as a job, never start YouTube wanting it to be a job. That is a way to make yourself very sad. But
Yes.
no matter what it is, if you want to start making content, you are in the era where that is not only viable, but the easiest it probably will become. Like, in the same way that in the late 80s, we had text processing down, like Google Docs hasn't gotten any better than Microsoft Word was in like the year 1989 in any
It's
major
worse.
way. It's
You can tell.
Yeah.
You can tell the age.
Yeah, I'd
You can
agree.
tell the age
Yeah,
because you still call it Google Docs. They haven't called it Google Docs in like a decade. They still call it.
Whatever,
They call it
okay?
Google Drive now.
Docs.google.com is a functional website. I don't care.
Yeah, and it's
so-
the best.
Yeah, but the point is, while we've had word processing down for about 30, 40 years, we've had video down for like 5, but it's here.
Yeah.
Like, recording is now viable for anyone with a computer that has GPU acceleration, or not. That use that
Like,
clean
I
registered
It highly
hypercam too,
depends
you know?
on what you're recording, because the thing about OBS, and I will say real quick, the acronym OBS stands for Open Broadcasting Software, is literally built to be accessible. But the major thing about whether or not a person can record it on the hardware that they have is what they're trying to record. If you're trying to, like, if you want to become a YouTuber, do it as a hobby, do it as whatever you want to do it for. But if you're trying to do games, you want a stronger computer. But if you're doing like browser explorations or talking about research or like yada yada yada, you can record something with OBS capturing browser windows just fine. It is a thing of the big no is you have professional level equipment. But you have to remember that you have to play around and start somewhere before you start getting to using a professional level piece of equipment like a professional. So even though you're dealing with something that has high expectations, don't be afraid to play around because you're never going to get it otherwise.
Yeah, and
experimenting is the best way to learn.
In the words of someone who already said the F word during his PG-13 movie once, the only way to find out is to F around.
Mhm.
I mean, like we're talking about the tech, on the tech side, but we haven't talked about like the output places like YouTube and all that. Like YouTube is still relatively quite new. I actually remember
Mhm.
when YouTube first came out, and I was talking with friends in school about it, and I was like, yeah, that doesn't sound like it's gonna take off. It's gonna be a fad.
I mean,
It's
it's
like
not
Rooster
profitable
for
Google.
Rooster Teeth is still gonna be the peak of
Yeah.
videos. You can't be Red versus
Meanwhile,
Blues
when I
video
was
players.
a kid, we
for
were like
Google.
trying to sneak off to the computer lab because we had computer labs back then. We even had typing classes
God.
back
So you
in
could
my
watch
first
Hamster
middle school.
Dance after class
Yes!
loaded.
Do
Oh
you
my god! So that
remember
we could
the-
sneak away and play Oregon Trail during our lunch break.
Yes,
the
miniclip.com.
way that they would sit there and like grill you for so long about keeping your fingers on the F and the J. Like
Oh, I
hours.
remember typing classes. Ugh.
Oh my gosh, that was. I don't think I've ever taken well, no, I've taken one less useful computer class. That was the college course, Computer Information Services, where they had me hand reproduce a specific spreadsheet and then graded me on if I screwed it up. That was cool. Anyway,
Wow.
we are at 2:57. PST. I am wondering if we are running an hour and a half or an hour. It's probably an hour.
I think we're an hour, yeah.
It ends,
Okay.
it ends at the Trinity Hour.
We're 3 minutes.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Mhm.
I am amazed my headset has not black screened the entire time.
Don't
I
jinx
guess
it.
the,
You have a couple more minutes.
Don't
Don't jinx
jinx
it.
it.
Yet.
Oh, damn
You
it.
can say it once the
we're
panel's
done.
over.
We're cooked. We're cooked.
Language.
Mhm.
It didn't
You said a
happen.
second
You
time!
knew that. Butterfly effect, it's not
Can't
there.
take a
Did I
zeal
say?
anyway.
Did I say a bad word
No,
again?
that's the Mandela.
Yes.
We'll talk after class, Azil.
How is any of my stuff monetized, dude? I don't know. I don't even know anymore.
That's a question for YouTube, not us.
And listen, as
Yeah,
long
is
as
there
it's not
anything
the
you want us
first 10
to-
minutes, it's fine.
But yeah, Azil, is there anything you want us to like finish off with?
Is it okay if I take it for a second? I have
Go
some
ahead.
I have some important kind of energy to give out here. When I started making YouTube videos, I did so because I knew I wanted to do something that would stick around longer than I would. And when I found my calling, when I started making the kind of videos I do now, where I share the lives of others with the world, I realized that there are parts of content creation that I love. Since then, I have learned that there are parts that I don't. There are aspects of being a member of a community that is instantly recognized that are difficult. One of those aspects, by the way, a couple of you said hello to me and asked for pictures. That was so kind, so sweet. I always love that. Just know that if you are trans and making videos on the internet, you are going to receive death threats and a lot of other really scary stuff if you ever get to a large scale. Like, that's just the reality. If you ever create content on the internet, you feel like the intensity of the social backlash is too much. Prioritize your mental health, but don't think that that is an indicator that you do not deserve to be successful. I've been through hell just because of some people that have mostly because people don't like that I make videos about trans people. So if that says anything, I'm cis. So if that says anything about like content creation as a queer person, there you go. But
They're angry at Azil just by correlation, so.
yeah, I am
Mhm.
like, just know, like, it's scary, and if you love it, you should do it. I want to see any one of you that is in this room who wants to make content. I want to see it happening, and if you make that and you come up to me in VR and you tell me that you did what you loved, I want to hear it. So if that happens, if you make your first video and you're proud of it, tell me. Like, I want to know that you're doing what you love. And we are at 3 o'clock.
Bury the
wanna-
hate and joy.
Yeah.
Can I
Yeah,
run
just
over
really quick.
slightly to add on to that?
Yeah.
I'm a bit after you, Alastor, as well.
Yeah,
You go
it's
first,
just
Alastor.
I want to say that when it comes to the similar note of You share people's stories, you make sure that these voices are heard that can struggle to be heard otherwise, and the most important thing is you have to remember the internet is a place of information, and we are at a point where information is power. You've probably heard that phrase before. And people are trying their hardest to take these long-standing sources, these long-standing flows of information and restrict it because information is power, and the less you know, the easier it is for everyone else. So even if, you will, as Azil said, because of the way certain factions are on the internet and the fact that it's one of those new faiths, it's sort of a recurring history. Every time something new happens, every time something new progressive happens, even if you are receiving death threats, as long as you look after yourself, you take care of yourself, and you don't make incredibly rash decisions, you should push through if you enjoy it, because there will never be a point where pushing against that restriction of information will do anything bad for you, because the more you and everyone around you know, the more people can talk about it, discuss it, learn from it, uncover all the truths, all the secrets, all the things around it, and that's how society grows, is by exchanging information and learning from one another instead of regressing.
Yeah, and then Ash, you said you wanted to say something
Yeah,
real quick. We're at
just
302 now.
yeah, just from the side of the film director on Trans Academy, it's like 100% an honor to be able to work with Trans Academy, just like being able to push out content and all that. And for me, when I ever make content for the Academy, it's always, how can I help? How can I help the people of the Academy? Not just like, oh, what will help give the Trans Academy most views on YouTube and all that. It's how can I put everyone forward? And I just want to say, we released a happy birthday video yesterday, and I just want to give a huge thank you to everyone who took part in that. I'll be first to say that when I saw the first edit of it, I cried, because it is so amazing that you all those who took part and who want to take part, it's such a joyful experience to know people want to be heard. As you've said, Azil, and so has Alastor, the trans community is quite a target community. So it takes a lot of guts, a lot of heart. And I just want to say big kudos to everyone. You're all amazing, and none of us would be here without all your support.
Thank you, everyone.
I have one quick last thing I just want to say. On the topic of the hate and all of that, the one thing that you really need to remember is that those hateful things, those terrible things, whether in content creation or not, that people spout at you has nothing to do with you. Anything that these people say has nothing to do with you. The hatred they spew, any of that, it has nothing to do with you as a person. It is a reflection of them. They are reflecting upon you. Do not take it to heart. Any of those terrible comments, any of the hate, any of that, things that people just say off the cuff to you, that does not reflect on you. And I know it's hard to adhere to that, especially if you're like a very emotional person. But that's the thing you need to remember, is these people who just spout this crap, they're not talking to you. They're talking at you, and you don't have to listen.
Yeah,
It
absolutely.
is about that restriction of information. It comes from a place of they don't understand the entire picture, and they don't want to either.
Yeah. Okay, we really got to wrap up. So thank you, everyone. Thank you to all of my other guests here. That was lovely.
Thank you, Azil.
If you want to say hi to any of us,
thank you,
as well.
Azil.
Wait, before we go, I think we should all wish Azil a happy birthday. It was their birthday yesterday, so everyone wishes
Happy
Azil a happy
birthday,
birthday.
Azil!
Happy
Happy late birthday, Azil!
I share a birthday with the Trans Academy.
Woo!
Yeah.
Yo, pug!
Oh, perfect.
Love you,
Thanks,
Azil.
everyone.